Welcome to the Wonder Wagon Tales. Rosie and the Whimsical Wolf. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village surrounded by whispering woods, there lived a young girl named Rosie. Rosie had a heart full of joy and a smile that could light up the darkest room. One sunny morning, Rosie's mother asked her to take a basket of fresh fruits and warm bread to her grandmother's house, which was on the other side of the woods. "Remember, stay on the path and don't talk to strangers," her mother reminded her with a gentle hug. As Rosie skipped along the path, she marveled at the beauty of the woods. The birds sang melodies, and the flowers nodded as if to say hello. It wasn't long before Rosie encountered a cunning wolf, his coat as shiny as the night sky. The wolf, with a sly grin, asked, "Where are you off to, little one?" "To my grandmother's house, through the woods," Rosie replied cheerfully, remembering her mother's warning not to share too much information. "Ah, what a lovely journey! But did you know the meadow on the other path is filled with the most beautiful flowers? Perfect for your grandmother," the wolf cunningly suggested, hoping to lead Rosie astray. Rosie thought for a moment but then smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Wolf, but I must stay on this path. My mother said it's the safest way to grandmother's house." Disappointed, the wolf slunk away, and Rosie continued on her journey, feeling proud for remembering her mother's advice. Upon reaching her grandmother's house, Rosie was greeted with a warm hug. She shared the story of her encounter with the wolf and how she remembered to stay on the path. Her grandmother smiled, "You are brave and smart, Rosie. I'm so proud of you." That night, Rosie fell asleep in her grandmother's cozy house, feeling safe and loved. The moon watched over them, casting a gentle glow through the window. Elsie and the Magic Goose. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled between green hills and sunny meadows, lived a farmer named Elsie and her kind-hearted goose, Gilda. Gilda was not an ordinary goose. She had a shimmering golden feather that glowed warmly under the sun. One morning, as Elsie was feeding Gilda, she noticed something shiny in the grass. It was a golden egg. Elsie couldn't believe her eyes. She picked up the egg and ran to show her family. They were all amazed by the sight. As days passed, Gilda laid a golden egg every morning. Elsie and her family sold the eggs and soon became wealthy. They fixed their old farmhouse, bought new clothes, and even helped fix the village school. One day, Elsie thought, if Gilda can lay such precious eggs, perhaps she is made of gold inside. Greed clouded her judgment. Elsie became consumed with curiosity and greed, wondering if Gilda herself might be made of gold. As she contemplated the unthinkable act of cutting open Gilda, her wise grandmother noticed her distress and decided to tell her a cautionary tale to steer her away from greed. This tale was about Tom, a humble baker whose life was simple and content until a mysterious traveler gave him a magic stone that made his oven produce endless bread. One night, a mysterious traveler offered Tom a magic stone. "Place this in your oven," the traveler said, "and whatever you bake will multiply 100-fold by morning." Overjoyed, Tom accepted the stone, dreaming of all the bread he could make and imagining the wealth that would follow. The next morning, Tom opened his oven to find it overflowing with bread, just as the traveler promised. Tom quickly became the richest man in the village, but with each passing day, his joy diminished. The bakery was always crowded, the villagers argued over the bread, and Tom had no time to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Feeling overwhelmed, Tom decided to remove the magic stone, hoping to return to his simple, happy life. But the stone was nowhere to be found. It had vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared. The oven continued to produce endless bread, trapping Tom in a cycle of endless baking. One night, weary and desperate, Tom stayed up and whispered to his oven, "I wish for nothing more than to bake at my own pace again." Hearing his genuine plea, the oven ceased its magic, returning to how it once was. Tom learned that more isn't always better, and he returned to enjoying his craft, no longer burdened by his greed. Elsie, moved by the story, saw the parallels in her own life. Elsie learned that true wealth wasn't about golden eggs but cherishing the magical moments with those you love. From that day on, Elsie treated Gilda not as a golden egg layer but as a cherished friend, enjoying every sunrise they shared. And so, Elsie and Gilda lived happily, appreciating the beauty in the simple things, and their life was full of joy and laughter, proving that the best treasures are often found not in wealth but in love and friendship. Raft Riders. At the heart of our story are two inseparable friends, Jamie and Leo. Jamie, with his boundless energy and ever-curious mind, is always the first to suggest a new adventure. His shock of red hair and freckled cheeks are as bright as his enthusiasm. Leo, cautious but equally curious, complements Jamie with his thoughtful nature and keen problem-solving skills. His dark, curly hair and the ever-present pencil tucked behind his ear signify his readiness to map out their plans. Together, they make a perfect team, ready to tackle whatever mysteries and adventures come their way. Jamie and Leo were not just neighbors but the best of friends. They shared a deep curiosity about the world around them, particularly the untamed wilderness just beyond their backyards. Their latest adventure began on a clear, warm morning, perfect for exploration. As they played near a cluster of tall oaks and whispering pines, Jamie's foot stumbled upon a partly hidden stone that marked the path to something marvelous, a glistening, babbling creek they had never seen before. Its waters sparkled with the morning light, beckoning them to follow where it led. The discovery of the creek ignited a tremendous excitement in Jamie and Leo. Inspired by tales of legendary adventurers, they decided to build a raft. They spent hours gathering logs, tying them together with vines and sturdy ropes, crafting a raft strong enough to carry them down the mysterious waters. With their raft ready, they pushed it into the creek. The cool water lapped at their feet, and the current was stronger than they had anticipated. As they climbed aboard, their hearts pounded with anticipation. Using sticks as makeshift paddles, they steered through the water, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the flowing stream. As they floated downstream, the creek revealed its vibrant ecosystem. A heron, with its majestic wingspan, soared gracefully above, casting a regal shadow over the water. Curious fishes flickered like silver beneath the surface, occasionally darting closer to inspect the raft's shadow. A family of ducks paddled by, seemingly unconcerned by the boys' presence, adding a serene rhythm to the water's gentle flow. Their journey became even more thrilling when Jamie realized he had accidentally dropped their hand-drawn map into the creek. With the map swept away by the swift water, they relied solely on their instincts and the creek's natural landmarks to guide them. As the creek widened, its currents grew stronger, leading them to a series of small but spirited rapids. Their nerves tingled with exhilaration as they navigated the rushing water, their raft splashing and spinning. It was a true test of their courage and the raft's durability. After conquering the rapids, the creek mellowed into a tranquil pool, surrounded by towering trees and flowering bushes. The air was fragrant with wildflowers, and the gentle rustling of leaves created a peaceful symphony. The boys took a moment to rest, soaking in the beauty of the secluded haven, their senses bathed in the earthy scents and soothing sounds of nature. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows over the water, they decided it was time to return. Utilizing their knowledge of the creek's course and guided by the sinking sun, they paddled back to where their journey began. Their spirits remained high, fueled by the day's adventures and the promise of future explorations. Back on land, they secured their raft ashore, vowing to return for more expeditions. As they walked home, they excitedly discussed what they had learned and what they planned to explore next. Their friendship had grown stronger, bonded by the shared thrill of adventure and new discoveries. The Maze Adventure. Once upon a time, there was a brave boy named Jack and a clever girl named Lily. One sunny day, they stumbled upon a grand, mysterious maze made of tall green hedges while exploring the woods near their village. Jack grinned, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Let's explore," he suggested. Lily, always up for a challenge, nodded in agreement, and together they stepped into the maze. As they ventured deeper, the paths twisted and turned, and soon every corner looked the same. They realized they were lost. "Don't worry," Lily said, her voice calm and confident. "We can figure this out together." Jack, looking around, noticed some smooth, flat stones on the ground. "Look," he pointed. "We can use these stones to mark where we've been." So they started placing stones at every turn they took, making sure they wouldn't walk in circles. As they continued, Lily suggested another clever idea. "Let's listen to the sounds from outside the maze. They can guide us," she proposed. So they paused, listening carefully to the chirping birds and the rustling leaves outside the maze. The sound seemed louder near the exit. With stones marking their path and the sounds guiding their direction, Jack and Lily made smarter choices about which paths to take. They avoided going down the same path twice, thanks to Jack's stone markers, and followed the louder sounds, which indicated they were moving towards the outer edges of the maze. Their adventure through the maze was filled with small discoveries. At one turn, they found a nest of baby birds tucked into the hedge. At another, they spotted a beautiful flower blooming all alone, which Lily carefully preserved in her notebook. After what felt like hours, they noticed the sunlight shining brighter through a break in the hedges. It was the exit. "We did it!" Jack cheered, jumping with joy. "Yes, because we thought smart and worked together," Lily smiled, her face glowing with pride. Hand in hand, they stepped out of the maze, the sun warming their faces. They looked back at the towering green walls, no longer a mystery but a conquered challenge. Ready for their next adventure, they knew that together they could solve any problem that came their way, all thanks to their wit and teamwork.